Look, be honest with me. You've been seeing these headlines every single day. AI is taking over, ChatGPT is going to replace everyone, and you've probably been holding on to your AI stocks, your Nvidias, your Microsofts, thinking this is it, the moon mission. But then you see the other headlines. OpenAI's revenue isn't hitting targets, or Sam Altman is fighting with his finance team. And suddenly that pit in your stomach starts growing. You start wondering, am I the one getting dumped on right now? Here's the thing. We've all been so drunk on the word innovation that we've stopped looking at the one thing that actually matters, the ledger. A company lives and dies by its cash flow, and right now, OpenAI's ledger looks more like a horror movie script than a business plan. Today, I'm going to tear that ledger apart and tell you if this is the greatest opportunity of our lifetime or just a giant mirage. My name is Moon. I am truly, deeply obsessed with the financial survival of the AI industry and the movement of massive capital. If you are struggling because you're worried your savings might vanish in an AI bubble, then hit that subscribe button. And if this video helps you, make sure to smash the like button. Let's get into the weeds. Look, check this out. There's a common myth in finance. If users are up and revenue is up, the company is winning. Well, OpenAI is proving that wrong. Yes, their weekly active users jumped from 400 million to 900 million in just a year. That sounds legendary, right? But here's the catch. The cost of supporting those 900 people is growing way faster than the checks they're writing. Here is a statistic that should keep you up at night. OpenAI has already committed to spending $600 billion. That's 900 trillion won on computing costs alone. To put that in perspective, that's more than Samsung Electronics makes in total revenue over several years combined. And how much cash do they actually have? Even after their record-breaking funding round, they've got about $122 billion in the bank. So they have a $600 billion bill coming due, but only $122 billion in their wallet. The rest, they're essentially putting it on a giant corporate credit card and saying, "We'll pay you once we are gods." Is that a healthy business? You tell me. Why would anyone make a decision like that? Is Sam Altman crazy? No, this is a cold, calculated strategy of supply chain dominance. Think of it like this. It's like a restaurant owner who rents every single empty building on the street, not because he needs them, but so that no other restaurant can open next to him. Sam is trying to reserve every single GPU and every data center on the planet, so Google and Anthropic have nowhere to run. But here is where it gets really interesting. Why is the CFO, Sarah Friar, reportedly frustrated? Because while the CEO is saying, "Reserve everything, we're taking over the world," the person in charge of the checkbook is saying, "Wait, even if every table is full, we're losing money on every steak we serve because the rent is too high." OpenAI is throwing the world's most expensive party, but they might not have enough to pay the venue at the end of the night. Now, I know what you're thinking. Moon, have you tried GPT 5.5? It's incredible. If the product is the best, doesn't that solve everything? Look, I've used it too. It's definitely better than 5.4. But here's what people really don't get: the ROI of intelligence. In the early days, you could spend $100 and get an AI that was 80% smart. Now, to get an AI that is 90% smart, you have to spend $1,000. We've entered a zone where we're spending 1,000% more money for a 10% increase in performance. Meanwhile, competitors like Anthropic's Claude or Google's Gemini are right on their heels, spending way less. If OpenAI is spending $600 billion to stay number one, but number two and number three are almost as good for a fraction of the price, that moat isn't a defense anymore. It's a weight around their neck. From here on, things get real. You probably missed the news that OpenAI started loosening its exclusive deal with Microsoft, didn't you? This is huge. For years, OpenAI was locked into using Microsoft's Azure servers. It was a symbiotic relationship. But now, OpenAI is launching its own ad platforms and enterprise tools that compete directly with Microsoft. This tells us two things. One, Microsoft is getting tired of subsidizing OpenAI's massive losses, and two, OpenAI realized they have to find a way to pay that $600 billion bill themselves. They're leaving the nest because they have to, not because they want to. If they can't prove they can make money without Microsoft's help, that $122 billion in funding will evaporate in the blink of an eye. OpenAI is making the most expensive bet in human history. If it works, we're looking at a new era of humanity. If it fails, the dot-com bubble will look like a playground scrape. Here are the 3 concrete steps you can take right now. 1. Stop looking at revenue, look at operating margins. If a company is growing but losing more money for every new customer, that's a red flag. Be careful with companies that can't control their costs. 2. Monitor the moat erosion. Watch if Anthropic or Google starts taking OpenAI's enterprise customers. When the leader starts losing market share, the valuation is the first thing to die. 3. Pivot to infrastructure. Even if OpenAI fails, the data centers were built and the electricity was used. The pick and shovel companies are often safer than the one trying to find the gold. People don't realize that technology changes, but the logic of capital never does. Don't just be a fan of GPT 5.5, be a student of the $600 billion invoice behind it. I'm telling you this because I'm worried about your future. I don't want you to be the one holding the bag when the music stops. If this insight helped you even 1%, make sure to sub and like. What do you think? Is this $600 billion bet going to pay off, or is the AI winter coming? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. Stay sharp, stay smart. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.